Hello everybody. So when we have a question of parajumble in front of us, the first thing that you should judge is the theme of the given question. So if I randomly look into the various sentences, you will see that a few things are common like monsoon, inflation, farming, rain, and irrigation. You see, these words are somewhere connected. If I say that this topic is dealing somewhere with agriculture and its dependence on rain, right? So first we should locate the theme, right? These are the few words that will tell you that yes, where the passage is going, where the sentences are going, right? The next thing that you should do is is find a good opener, right? For example, unfortunately, this is something which with we cannot start a sentence. The June to September rain bearing system is often called the lifeblood of the country economy. Looks like an opener. The let's look at the third one. This is because so there should be something. This is the cause of an effect, right? So this refers to something as a pronoun, so we won't start with this. Then there is this a robust monsoon will help put a lead on food inflation by increasing domestic output of a variety of goods. Now this looks like a solution. Now this solution should come after a problem. A supper monsoon cuts farm yields, output and farm incomes, increasing the country's dependence on food imports. Okay, so this looks like a problem. This looks like a problem and this looks like a good opener. So the June to September rain bearing system is often called the lifeblood of the country system. So let's take 4 as an opener. This is because half the Indian population depends upon farm derived income. So it looks like that this period of June to September is known as the lifeblood of country economy because the Indian population is dependent upon this. Now this becomes a very good reason why this June to September period is known as the lifeblood of the country's economy. So 4-3 looks like a mandatory pair which is connected, and 2, which looks like a solution, should come after the problem. And if you can see that number 5 poses a problem that unfortunately 40% India's net zone area does not have access to irrigation, and we also have a problem here. So 1 and 5 looks like a problem, a set of problem. But which one should we put first? So we can see that there is a word unfortunately used here. So unfortunately must comes after a positive sentence, right? So it is like this happened, this should have happened, but unfortunately something bad happened. Like we were going to the party, unfortunately the car broke down. So there should be a good positive sentence before we begin with such words, such contrasting words like unfortunately, although, however. Right, so something positive should come before this, and the only positive sentence before this we have is 3. So let's put 5 here and 1 there. So 1 is like an extension of the problem which is in 5, and 2 is the solution we have. So the pattern is 4, 3, 5, 1, 2. Thank you. Coming to the next question. Again, we'll follow the same approach. Let's look into some keywords first that will help us understand what is this entire paragraph is about. So this means a brain. Okay. The next is jiggle, stimuli, and muscles grow slower. Eyes perform jiggles. Again, there's a repetition of jiggle. That means somewhere jiggles is a dominant idea in this entire parajumble, more commonly called saccades, in response to a change in the field of vision. So there is something related to this eye. You can see there's brain-eye connection and this jiggling connection. Okay, jiggle means that sparkling of the eyes. You know that bright luster which is there in the eyes, dominantly in the youth. So That's one thing. So basically, we can see that this topic deals somewhere around the eyes, the jiggling, and the relation with the brain somewhere. Okay, so we have a fair idea about the topic. Now let's see which can be a good opener. As the person attached to those eyes ages, the eye muscle. So this looks like somewhere in the middle of this sentence. Somewhere should come in the middle of the paragraph as the person gets attached. So it's like a progression. This shouldn't be the opener. This means what means. So this is a pronoun here. We don't know what it is referring to. So we'll keep it as the next one. Youthful eyes jiggle regularly to take in new or unfamiliar stimuli. Okay, we can start with this. Let's take it as an opener. Our eyes quickly scan the surrounding and then send the data to the brain. This looks like somewhere in the middle. This sentence should come somewhere in the middle. Human eyes perform jiggles more formally called saccades in response to a change in the fields of vision. So you can see that this is the concept of jiggles which is being introduced here. So such sentences where a concept is introduced for the very first time, we'll keep it as an opener. So let's start. Let's see. Can we go with 5 as an opener? Human eyes perform jiggles, more formally called saccades, in response to a change in the field of vision. So, is there any other sentence here which further elongates this idea of jiggling? Look at number 4. This looks like an extension of this idea. This looks like the mechanism is still there. It's still left here. It's left to be explained. So our eyes quickly scan the surrounding and then send the data to the brain. So just look at the series of events. First they have explained the thing in number 5, and then in number 4 they have started explaining the mechanism. Right? How does this happen? Right? That our eye quickly scans the surrounding and then the data gets accumulated and then it gets transferred to the brain. Right? So we can see there is an explanation and then the mechanism is explained. The idea is opened up, and then as the person attached those eyes, you see the attachment. This attachment is still not explained right now. So I think before we come to this eye muscles grow slower and aging part, I think youthful should come before aging. So we'll keep number 2 here, which deal with the younger generation, and then we'll keep number 3, which deals with the older generation. And we can see that in the youthful days, the youthful eyes jiggle regularly to take in new or unfamiliar stimuli. So yes, definitely, in youthful eyes we do take this stimuli very spontaneously, and as the person attached those eyes ages, so we can see there is a transition from 2 to 3, from that youthful stage to that aging stage. So 3, and finally this means the brain receives less input over the course of a day. So you can see here in number 3 where the author explains that as the muscles of the eye and the brain gets attached and time proceeds, then the connections gets weaker and weaker, and thus we can conclude that in the entire course of a day the brain might get tired, and thus there is a loosening of the connection, and thus we can end with 1. So basically we are having the pattern as 4 3 2 3 4 5 4 2 3 1. Now let's look into this question. Let's understand the theme first. So this parajumble talks about being bored, burnout again. So when there's a repetition of a word, it means that the passage is generally talking about that concept. Overwork, meaninglessness, bore out. You see there is a bore out has been put in inverted commas. That means this concept has been introduced here. Phenomena that's arguably just as pernicious. Okay, so in this entire thing we are getting generally 2 concepts as being bored or burnout, or burnout and bore out. Yes, so we all know that. Let's see which is a good opener here. We cannot start it with while, but 1 can be a opener, 2 can be a opener. But you see, there's a connection between 2 and 4. there is a it is forming a mandatory pair. It says that we all know what burnout is and why it's bad. And number 4 says, but fewer of us have heard of bore out. So it says that yes, all of us know that what burnout is, but only a few know what bore out can be. So these two are semantically, the flow is very smooth. If we keep 2 and 4 together, the flow of the idea would be very smooth, that yes, everybody know what burnout is, but very few of them know what bore out is. So bore out has been explained here. What bore out means? It means a related phenomena that, it means a related to what? It's related to burnout somewhere. Related phenomena, that means it is not very much different from boredom. So a related phenomena that's arguably just as pernicious. Just as pernicious means it's as bad as, it's as dangerous as, disadvantageous as burnout. Okay, so let's see. So 2 and 4 has formed a mandatory pair. Now you see, in 3 there is a distinction which is made between burnout and bore out. While burnout is linked to long hours, poor work-life balance, and our glamorization of overwork, bore out, on the contrary, happens when we feel it is totally meaningless. Okay, so number 3 somewhere explains the the contradiction, the contrast between burnout and bore out. And in number 1, you see, we are bored by our work to the point that our job seems pointless, our task devoid of value. So you see how boredom or burnout is related to devoid of value or meaninglessness, seems pointless. So you see the bore out concept and the burnout concept has been linked here. So we are putting the contrast here, and we can end with 1. Right? 1 seems to be a good, a conclusive statement how these two, one leads to the other. So number 1 is better conclusion than number 3. Rather than ending the entire paragraph with 3 where differences are posed, it's better to end the sentence with 1 where there is an amalgamation of the entire idea. So we'll keep the pattern as 2, 4, 3, 1. Now, in this parajumble, let's look into the theme first. So to explore the theme, let's see where the ideas have been repeated. So Japanese artisans have been making ceramics. So this talk is something about ceramics known as yakimono since prehistoric times. Modern times is historic display, thousands of them crafted in factory. So handcrafted in factory. So it is referred to some kind of ceramics, some kind of cutlery things. However, savvy tourists find it best bargains of ceramics. Again, ceramics have been repeated, so ceramics is a dominant theme we can understand. The popularity of these creations grew along with that of the tea ceremony in the 16th century. Of these creations, it means somewhere it's referring to the ceramics itself. Right? It's dominant. So you can see that we can get an easy opener here. Sentence will not start with however. Here, modern shops and tourists display thousands of them. So there is a pronoun here. Something the antecedent should come before them. What it's referring to. So this cannot be the opener. So we have 1 and 2, 1 and 4. So again there is a pronoun here. These. So basically we are having an opener with 4. So Japanese artisans have been making ceramics known as yakimono since prehistoric times. So we see there is an introduction of this ceramic idea, the origin. And in number 1 you see the origin is still continued. There is a description of the origin of these kind of ceramics. So we'll keep 4 and 1 as mandatory pair because both the statements talks about the prehistoric time or the 16th century. There is a link between the prehistoric time and the 16th century. So this relation should be kept in one whole. So we are left with 2 and 3. So you see in number 2 there is a word however, a contrasting word is used. So it should come somewhere after a positive statement. So you can see that number 3 says there are many shops in touristy spots that displays thousands of them, both handcrafted and factory made. So number 3 looks like overall a general statement. Now number 2 can be put after 3. That shows that although there are various shops that may display or may contain these ceramics, but still tourists have a vivid attraction, a unique attraction or a unique predilection towards these ceramics which are sold in Tokyo's kitchen town. Okay, so there they can get the best kind of work of these ceramics. So we can see that number 4 1 and then 3 2. So this forms the most sensible pair here.